The July Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting will come to order. And if you'd rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Morrow.
Here.
Ms. Webster.
I'm here.
Ms. Drumheller.
Here.
Ms. Sheldon. Here. Mr. Halloran.
Here.
And Mr. Moore. Thank you.
Now we have announcements and agenda modifications. Does anyone have any modifications to the agenda? Additions, deletions? Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from June 23rd.
So I will make a motion to approve the minutes from June 23rd.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
The minutes are approved as written. And now we have public input. This is the time for anyone in the public or on Zoom to comment on anything that is not presently on the agenda. Do we have anyone? Anyone on Zoom?
No, at this time.
Is Ms. White on yet?
She has not yet joined.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we'll move to, oh, certainly, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Damian Gilliams, 1623 US 1. Good evening, board members. I just wanted to stop back after being here at the last meeting and try to understand this board's thinking and see if they had did any due diligence with the city of Melbourne about their band shell that they're putting in. Has anybody from the city or from this board had the opportunity to inquire up there about them shutting their roads down for their park improvements? Nobody. So,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
Well,
Yeah, you should allow public to complete their comments, and then you can
Okay.
have discussion.
You complete.
I don't mind you interrupting me. I just, if you have a thought in your mind, and I don't want you to forget it.
Yep, I wrote it down.
You wrote it down? Okay. Because I know when I speak, I sometimes forget my thoughts if I don't write them down. But I wanted to follow up with you all to see if anybody reached out to any of the business owners that I brought up at the last meeting. Did anybody try to attempt to talk to any of the business owners that expressed interest in not closing that road? No, so nobody attempted to see how they feel. And they said, the last time we had a big meeting here that some of the other business owners, that they might reach out and see, what can we do to alleviate this issue, this problem. And nobody's reaching out to us. So I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it in a different perspective, that you just don't care, or you already made up your mind and you don't care to communicate or dialogue between us and the businesses that paid a lot of taxes. As a matter of fact, they're doing the budget, and I've been going to the budget hearings via Zoom, listening to it, and the discretionary sales tax brings a lot of money. You guys spend a lot of money from the businesses in this community. I mean, big money for major items. And just to not reach out, well, maybe it's because it's me. Maybe I'm the wrong person to come down here. I mean, I find time in my schedule, because it's going to affect my business. There's no getting around it. But it's going to affect the guy right next door to me, because he's not on US 1 like I am. I'm going to get all the traffic. I'm going to get 20,000 vehicles going past my property every day. But I'm trying to speak on behalf of some of the other businesses down there, and nobody's communicating with us. The city staff has not reached out to us. Nobody is taking any of my recommendations to check out other communities and seeing how they do it. Why? Why? I mean, I'm confused. So I'll stop speaking, and maybe you can share those questions that I had, and I'll be sitting right here. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. That's all. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
thank you for your input.
Okay.
Can I ask my question? Where in Melbourne is this place? Pretty big.
Yeah, City of Melbourne is,
It's the city of Melbourne?
I'm pretty sure it's the city of Melbourne. There's not too many band shells going up there on the riverfront. I'm sure you make one phone call. And,
Yeah, my people in Melbourne don't know about it, so.
yeah, I would
will-
call the
I will
city
check
and
it out.
and they would direct you. And I think there's only two cities, Brian, up there, or West Melbourne and Melbourne, right?
West Melbourne is
Yeah,
not
I mean,
on the
there's a
river.
few others that are in that
But I'm
proximity.
talking about by Strawbridge,
Yeah, I mean,
that downtown
Indy
area.
Atlantic
Yeah, I mean,
is
you would-
over there, there's
Indy
a
No,
lot.
no,
Atlantic,
no,
you got
no, no,
Melbourne
this
Beach,
is,
you got different
this is not in the Atlantic. This is on the mainland. As soon as you come into 192, the city hall is right there to the left, and then you have those parks. I'm pretty sure that's the area that I
Okay,
read
down on
about in
Front
the
Street?
newspaper. Yeah, I read about it in the paper, and I also looked at, I think I saw it in their minutes as well.
Okay,
So.
so it's not
yeah.
O'Galley, it's
No, no.
off
it's-
192,
it's-
okay.
No, I think it's the,
I was just down there.
yeah, as soon as you make that left onto Strawbridge, you'll see City Hall right there on the right. I think that's just regular City of Melbourne.
Thank you.
If you're coming,
There's
I'm
not
sorry.
many- there's not many cities in
This is-
Melbourne.
This is it. I'm coming up to 192, I'm gonna take a right or left?
If you're heading north on US 1, make a left.
That
that's
takes you to
Strawbridge.
downtown.
Yes, that's the downtown area. That's where I'm talking about.
There's not a riverfront there.
Sure, if you make a right, that's part of their, that's what,
I'll find out.
yeah, so I'm just telling you where City Hall is, but if you go, oh, but as far as the improvements they're making, there's a park area down there to the right,
Okay,
which
that's
is
what I
to
wanted
the
to know.
east, but don't go over the causeway. It's in that 192.
Yeah, I was just there,
But
and
there- yeah,
there's
there-
nothing
yeah,
being
there's-
done right now.
There's a development in the planning stage. They're talking about a band shell, and they emphasize they're not closing the roads down because of the businesses.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you have any other questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Can I make a comment? After you left last month, we had a little bit of a discussion on the closing of the street. And that was my question, was the whole street going to be closed? And it was pointed out to me that the whole street is not going to be closed. It's going to be closed a little bit east of where the dry cleaners are, and that they're going to do something with the parking lot so that people can still have access from the east side of where your business is to come up to US 1. So it's my understanding that the whole street's not going to get closed.
That's correct. You are correct. The whole street is not going to.
I'm sorry,
just to
Mr. Gilliams,
clarify-
I think we're going to move on in discussion because you've
Well, I
had your
wanted to answer
time.
his-
Well, you've had
I'm
your
about to
time.
answer the question.
Thank
Can I
you.
answer the question? Because I want to make sure I'm seeing it correctly. Maybe I'm not
Well,
seeing it
Mr.
correctly.
Gilliams, if you would yield to Mr. Blankenship, he knows the plans, and so he can easily answer the board members' questions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you
I-
so
I-
much.
I do have a copy of the set of plans.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
it's his place to answer it for this committee
But the
meeting.
whole street is not being closed. That I understand.
Thank you. Mr. Blankenship.
Moving on to unfinished business, Riverview Park planning. Obviously, we're moving along with that as we can. We haven't heard from Land and Water Conservation until recently. So if you'll recall, we were awarded this a year ago, so we're hoping to get the contracts here pretty soon. But we are we're looking at another, like a Plan B to bring back for an overall concept that, of course, we'd bring back to this board before we did anything else with it.
So that, and you're speaking about the Main Street boat ramp?
No, ma'am, Riverview
Oh,
Park.
So we're kind of on a holding pattern at this time?
Until we get the contracts for the grant and we start moving forward with planning. Main Street Boat Ramp, we've been awarded the Florida Boater Improvement Grant for that. So that is in design right now in permitting. We were awarded a grant last year to do that. We're supposed to have the permits by 1st of September. So basically and we've got the $240,000 from FBIP. We have another $200,000 grant in with FIND, as long as we have our permits before they award. So we could be, by the end of September, we could have a nice a grant collection so that we can go to work and improve that boat ramp and make it better situation.
So if we, is that going to put the boat ramp out of commission like seasonally then?
No, what we will try to do is do it so that at least one side is still open, if they can do that, if it's safe to do that. if we did have to shut it down, it wouldn't be, you know, a year or anything like that, but, it's something, you know, we have to dredge it. It's just getting, dangerous to launch your boat and to retrieve it. So we'll.
Yeah, there's a lot of people interested about what's
Right.
going on in
And
the
we'll
boat
we'll
ramp.
do whatever we can to keep at least one lane open during dredging.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just got a message, from Ms. White. She is on Zoom. So just in case anytime we can get input from her.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Law enforcement dry line the installation is underway. If you recall, this is the fire suppression system for the southern dock at Twin Piers. That should be completed by the end of next week. And then it'll be our second project we find that we've been able to complete this year. Swing and Bench Park, again, we've got a design and we're in for permitting. And we have a couple of construction grants in the works, and I'm pretty confident we'll come out with at least one of those. So we'll be able to move forward with Swing and Bench, shoreline stabilization, and whatever we do on the uplands with swings and benches. And then we were awarded 2 urban forestry grants last week, one for a tree canopy survey. And what you do with tree canopy surveys is on public lands, you know where your shade structure is weak, or where you have potentially an area of disease that you need to address, or an area of exotics that you need to address. So that'll be a document that lives for quite a while as we try to reforest around the city. Shade is becoming very important. And that's my updates.
Ms. White, I know that you're on Zoom. Do you have any comments on item A under unfinished business or questions?
No, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, nope, everything, I'm just following along. For the canopy though, it's not private, it's all public areas?
Yes, for the amount of the grant, it'll have to be for public areas. But that would
thank you.
include parks, right-of-ways, not right-of-ways, medians, that kind of stuff.
Does it address anyway, the invasive things that are on the trees along the walkways and that?
We got a second grant to address those. So we got a tree canopy grant, and then we got an exotic removal grant at the same time.
Can we get a grant for those huge lizards that are hanging out now? Lordy, they're everywhere now. Really coming up. Anybody have any questions on any of the A through E? No? Okay.
I don't know if I heard in the beginning, because I had a hard time getting on Zoom. The Riverview Park planning, how do the grants work? How much are the grants for that project?
What we've been awarded so far is 1.6 million in grant with a 1.6 million match. And then we have a cultural facilities grant for $500,000 that's pending. The state did away with FERDAP, so we had some FERDAP applications in for that, but that wasn't funded. So we're looking at total grant match, 3.2 million, roughly.
So is that a for sure for the matching grant?
Pardon?
Is the matching grant a for sure? Do we know we have
Well,
that?
right now, with the way things are, I don't think anything's for sure until we get an executed contract.
Okay.
We've gotten an award, but we don't have an executed contract yet.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to item B, which is the committee member park updates. Grace, would you like to start?
Absolutely. I've been at Barber Street a few times this week with my kids. They're very grateful for the cool water in the water fountain and the ability to refill their water bottles, not just from the spout. And Kildare looked beautiful as always.
You're up.
Just want to say thank you for getting the windscreen up at the pickleball courts. Other than that, my areas of responsibility are fine.
Ms. Webster?
My parks are good. I don't go, go out lately during the day. I'm usually at work anyway, but it's the blazes of hell, so I'm not going out walking on the walking trail. So, but it looks good when you ride by. I do,
Go ahead.
I have a question, but it's not related to my park. Can I ask this question now?
Well, let's get through the parks and then we'll circle
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Okay, if it's not park related. Mr. Howard?
Yeah, I was given Stormwater Park just last month. I have not had a chance to visit it. Oh, I'm sorry. I was given Stormwater Park last month, but I haven't had a chance to visit it. The other two parks both looking good, except for those abutters that are still parking on the grass. And last month I had mentioned about the signs that's over at Blossom Ave Park, and I was wondering if we could have an update on that.
I haven't addressed that with PD or Mr. Benton on whether we can do that or not. I don't know off the top of my head whether we can really do that. I mean, we've just put up no parking signs in the swells at Barber Street, so I'll speak with Mr. Benton and see if that's allowable for us to put them up at your facilities.
Is that particularly George Street?
It's both.
It's both?
It's both George and Brian.
I see I go by George a
Yes,
lot,
yep.
and there's a lot of what appears to be people that live in that little U that are parking in the parking spots of the park itself. But there isn't any signage, so so that might be something. Mr. Moore, would you like to tell us about your parks?
Riverview like Monday after the 4th of July because I just thought, okay, I wonder what condition the park's in. It was spotless. It was really maintained well. Hardly any trash at all. And what I did is I took pictures of things that I noted that I would be concerned about and gave them to the director. So that's where we are. So other than that, Riverview was looking good.
Okay, thank you. My parks are fine. Garden Street, those plants are really making the place look good. But you're right, do you think there'll be like a public time to pull stuff coming up in the next month?
Yeah, we were hoping to do a work day this summer, but between it being really too hot and then the Girl Scout group that has adopted the park, they don't really function during the summer.
Okay.
So when they come back, we'll set a work day between Advisory Board, Natural Resources Board, and the Girl Scout group to go out there and do some weeding.
Okay. All right, so any public input about the parks?
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
On stormwater, you guys have been there? You haven't been to stormwater?
I've been there in the past, but not since last month.
I wanted to ask, what is the procedure that they do when they cut the grass there? I notice up on the high where you can walk around, the grass is cut, but on the banks it's all tall.
I think one answer that would address your question is an equipment issue in the past couple of months as far as using a bat wing or bush hog. Bush hog on the flat spaces and a bat wing on the elevated spaces, and the bat wing has not been functioning. So that is probably there's no reason why they would mow one and not the other if they didn't have the right equipment.
Thank you.
Did you want to ask your question?
My question is, are we, with different things, are we authorized or should we be going out talking to businesses about their feelings on proposed things like the Riverview Park? I feel like that we're not equipped for that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a line there that you can't cross as a board member. Obviously, you're representative of the board and kind of looking at it from your It's also your responsibility to do your due diligence if that's what you so choose to do when you're making a decision that comes before the board. So you can't misrepresent your position when you go out to speak to businesses. But if you're in the area and you happen to want to stop in a business and just say, hey, you know, I'm a member of the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee. We've got this discussion coming up. You know, what are your thoughts? Or what, you know, and same thing, the same way you approach the general public on your site visits to parks when you're having those discussions with the public. I know that Mr. Denise was always a big proponent of, when he was walking the riverfront, to always stop and ask people's opinion or kind of look at that. So as long as you're representing the position, you know, as a volunteer board member who isn't making a decision, you're just making a recommendation, then that is within your responsibility, or I shouldn't say your responsibility, you're not responsible to do it, but it is within your abilities as a board member to have those discussions with a member of the public.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yep.
Thank you. Upcoming events at Riverview Park, Mr. Blankenship?
This is our slow time of the year, so we really don't have anything
Because it's hot.
major coming up in the next, couple of months.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the meat of this meeting, which is talking about the 2026 capital improvement plan.
So you have in your packet the draft capital improvement plan for 2025, 26, and 5 years out, I believe. So starting with page 168, I can go over that. We do have one item on there from the cemetery, but that was, or two items, but that's just because I didn't want to cut it off. First item is Parks and Recreation maintenance equipment, and we don't have anything scheduled for 25, 26. We moved that out to 26 and 27. As you may recall, we took over maintenance of the CRA this year. So in this year's budget, we had quite a bit for equipment. So we were able to equip ourselves accordingly and didn't miss anything. The next item is the recreation impact fees, the $20,000 that we put aside for those things that.
Can I go backwards for just 1 minute to the funding, the park maintenance equipment, where the project description, were you able to fund the replacement and maintenance of the equipment, or to the right side of that, everything's being moved to, we have a lot in 26, 27?
Yes, it's being moved out to those years, and here's another reason why. If you recall, we applied for they call it Trail Go grant to buy equipment to maintain trails, and trails mean different things to different people. Riverview Park and the CRA is a trail in the state's mind. We had an application in for that, but the state did not fund that program this year. So that's kind of one reason why we've moved everything out. Also to hopefully next year they'll fund it and we'll be able to get some grant funding to subsidize what we have.
But it's pushed out, but it's questionable whether there'll even be funding for that next year, right?
Yes, that's correct. Then we're back on the money set aside for any items that come up that the public or the advisory board expresses as a concern. So we've kept that in the budget, and that is funded out of impact fees. Playground improvements, we have $80,000 scheduled for 25, 26, funded out of impact fees. We'll be coming back to you at a later date to talk about what playground we do. If you recall, we did several in the last few years, we've done several. So we'll need to come back to you and talk about which playground that we renovate.
Do you, what I don't have right in front of me right now is that we had like the rotation of the parks as the playground equipment reaches its end of life, after so
That's
many
right,
years
it's
when
there.
we were looking at, do we know in
It's to
20?
your right. It's
in-
to your right. Where it says Hardy Park and Schuman Park?
Those are the next two.
Yeah,
So the only park in 25, 26 that's going to be funded will be Hardy.
yes. But like I said, we'll come back to you with more detail on that and
Because we just did two in 24, 25, was it two?
we did Bryant, we did Creative, Filbert,
Three.
Blossom.
So that's a lot.
And
Oh,
then we
we've
did
done
some
a lot in the
upgrades.
last 2 years, so the park's looking pretty good for
Yeah.
equipment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've done quite a bit of and we took out two playgrounds that were in bad shape, the Friendship Playground and the playground at the community center. So we've done quite a bit of playground work in the last few years.
And I'm
I
sorry,
have a
Richard.
question.
Oh, go ahead, Ms.
sorry.
Joan. No, go ahead.
The one just above where we have $20,000 each year for the public or Parks Committee, if we don't use that money, where does it go? Or does it get spent pretty much every year?
We will use the money.
Okay.
We won't knowingly let it sit there and not be used.
Okay, and so if we have our own park, and this might be for somebody that's newer on the committee, if we are looking out at our own new park that we're supposed to give feedback on, that $20,000, that could be used for something we see that needs to be used in our own parks?
Correct.
Like, okay.
I can't
So
guarantee.
something like that sphere climbing thing?
Well, I can tell you what we've used it so far is we had a need for handicap parking at Bryant, and that's we used some of it for that. That wasn't in the playground budget.
Did any of that go for all of the planting and irrigation that was put into Garden Park? Because I don't remember that being a budget line item
No,
last
we didn't
year.
fund that. That was funded by the Sustainable Sebastian Development Services Natural Resources Board.
Okay.
We didn't fund that.
So if it's at the end of the year and that money hasn't been spent, how does that work then? If people put in requests for parks, something to get done, and you use that parts of that $20,000, when it runs out, it runs out? Is that what happens for these
Yes.
small issues?
Yes, it doesn't roll over to the next year.
Okay, and if it's,
God bless you.
Do we have
And
any
if
left?
it's-
Sorry?
Do we have any left?
Yeah,
We do?
about 6,000.
Oh, that's about what that thing costs.
you know what, is there any way that maybe once a year we can kind of see what that money's used for?
Sure.
I'm kind of curious what kind of projects, but if we do have our own park and we see something that needs to be maintained or improved on, then this could be where it comes out of a small project.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And just, I'm sorry, Richard, just to clarify, the impact fee funds, this doesn't include Riverview Park at all, not the splash pad, not the potential
No.
playground there. Heard.
The Parks and Trails equipment, that's what I just spoke about, that wasn't funded this year, so that's no longer an item. For next year, we have some monies into Schuman Park Courts upgrade for lights, courting, and our court resurfacing and fencing. In next year's, we have
I don't see
money
that's
for Friendship Park
200,000.
tennis courts for lighting and some upgrades, fencing and the like.
Going faster than I can read this. So,
So that's 26, 27.
Right, not this year, not 25, 26, but 26, 27.
wow.
And then Garden Club Park. The Recreational Trails Grant Program is still alive. And so we have an application in, so we've left that in to see whether we can get funded and do some renovations to that park.
So are you still waiting for contracts on that, or is that
No, I'm
actually
waiting for
funded?
an award on that.
You're waiting for the
That's
award?
pending, yeah. But I haven't gotten a denial, so I'm waiting on an award.
I'm always wondering about impact fees, how we budget that. The impact fees had to have gotten less in the last few years, I'm assuming.
Yeah, if you recall, when we came to you with a presentation, we showed you how we are projecting their decline. Whether I think it's too early to know whether we've experienced that or not, but we are projecting that for right now, until building picks up, construction picks up.
And the impact fees for new people are used mainly for?
In parks,
Yes.
the only two places we have them programmed are the emergency monies and playgrounds.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Next, Main Street boat ramp. Again, we've awarded Florida Boater Improvement. I anticipate we'll be awarded Florida Inland Navigational District as long as we get our permits by mid-September, early September. Had a call today with the consultant that's doing the permitting, and they're still confident that we can get that. So assuming we get that, then we'll go out on the street, and hopefully by mid-year next year, we can be under construction. Riverview Park Master Plan is, that's still under conceptual design. We are having a Plan B created so we can bring it back to you. But again, we want the Land and Water Conservation Fund agreement in our hands before we do much else. Swing and Bench Park, we have design and we're in permitting, and we have a grant or a grant application in with Find to see if we can get some construction monies. And then the last one was the park restroom doors, and we took that out. So there's nothing in 25, 26 for that. And that completes our CIP.
So this says 15,000.
Pardon?
Under restroom doors, it says 15,000, 25,
Right,
26.
I sent this to you before that was cut out.
Okay, so that's off.
So,
Any questions?
well, it appears that this is very fluid and really dependent on funding that we're not funded for yet, that we haven't received. We have applications in for a lot of this, but there's as much of an opportunity for that money not to come as come.
I think everything that you still see on the CIP is that you still see, this went out before we knew about the cuts. Everything but the Florida Trails document, everything else is very legit. Like with Land and Water Conservation, we were awarded last August. We heard a little bit from, it's the National Park Services who we're dealing with. We heard a little bit from them, then for months didn't hear anything. And then a couple of weeks ago, all of a sudden, they're asking all these questions. We need these documents. We need them within 72 hours. So I anticipate an agreement any day now. And that's kind of how it happened with Florida Boater Improvement. Within a couple of weeks, we had hearings and an agreement, a draft agreement. So some things are moving. But everything that's in the CIP, it's not, in 25, 26, it's legitimate. It's not pipe and dream and, that kind of stuff. It's work that needs to be done.
I have a question on is the cemetery getting a new building?
Yes, it is.
And when are we projecting or something for that?
What are we projecting as far as?
Having a new building put in.
It's under design now. It'll go to planning and zoning probably in September. It'll be an office administration building / maintenance building. The building they're in now was an old pavilion that got closed in many years ago. So it doesn't meet
Right.
the right codes. It has issues. So we need to get staff into a better facility, and the cemetery itself needs to have a respectable administrative building
Yeah,
and place for the public to go.
they definitely need a new building there. So where does the monies come for doing that project?
Cemetery Trust Fund.
Oh, okay. And I didn't know they had one. So the trust fund is used for,
All capital, I don't know if it's used for any of the daily operations, but mostly capital.
Yeah, so what happens is when purchases are made for plots at the cemetery, 50% of the funds go into the capital trust and 50% go into the operations. So that's kind of how it's split. So we have, the goal is the capital trust fund would be sufficient to continue to fund the operations once it's completely built out or once all plots are sold. So we have an established trust fund that is there. And we can expansion, new construction, utilize those funds for those items.
okay, learned something new. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask on the Riverview Park. You mentioned a Plan B coming up. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
When we have Plan B, we'll bring it to you and go over it with you and get your opinion on it. But we don't have Plan B yet. It's in the works.
Okay. Where are you going with Plan B as opposed to the original plan?
Bits and pieces move. You know, we have to look at it on how it functions best for the public. So as you recall, you know, we had the whole issue with moving the Veterans Memorial. Well, now we're looking at different options for moving other things to see what, because we also have the Twin Piers side that could potentially house something. So once the consultant gets all those things into place, we'll bring it back.
And then eventually you might have a Plan C also.
Could.
Good.
You could.
It's
I
just
hope not,
moving
but you
on.
could.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Moore, you have any questions on the capital?
Now, Madam Chair, we would request a motion and a vote to approve the CIP as presented.
I make a motion to approve the CIP as presented. I can speak.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
I have one other question. Were
back
we
to
gonna
council.
set up a day to go to Crabby Bill's?
That's next item on the
That's our
agenda.
next agenda item.
Sorry about that.
You're excited, aren't you?
So the next agenda item is Hurricane Harbor Tour and Assignment.
So I forwarded all of you the discussion at the last council meeting about the council's desire to redo Hurricane Harbor or Krabby Bills or whatever we want to call it, Hurricane Harbor. So I think it's pertinent for you guys to get out and physically see it and walk through it and see where it's located and get a feel for the shoreline and for where the parking is and all that kind of stuff. So council asked that we come back to them in late August, last meeting in August, with a list of desires, if you will. We're recommending X number of square feet. We're recommending this type of catering situation. Those type of things that we're going to recommend for this facility. So that, you know, the idea is then they will look at that. Assuming they are in agreement, then we go to a consultant to put together a draft plan and
this is with the idea of using it as a community center? Did
as
I
a
read that right?
public
Because that's
facility.
very exciting.
As a public facility. And, you know, people say, well, what's wrong with the community center we got? Nothing wrong with it. It's booked 7 days a week.
It's old.
But it gets used.
It does get used.
And so does the yacht club. So that's one thing that we've been shy of in Sebastian for a while, is public meeting space or, wedding space, party space, whatever it may end up being. So what I'm going to propose is that we meet next Monday, the 28th, and I'm just throwing out a date. It could be, I prefer it to be next week. We can meet at 5:30, 6, but we'll have to post the meeting. So we need to decide tonight on what time. But if next Monday, the 28th, and I'll throw out 5:30, if everybody's amenable to that, for us to meet and just walk the space. It is the working waterfront, so there's more elements to it than just a building.
Than just the building.
Yeah,
It's a lot more.
yeah. And then there's commercial elements on the other side of it that you need to be aware of. So if everybody's all right with Monday, the 28th at 5:30, that's how we'll post it.
That's good for me.
Mr. Moore, does that work for you? Okay, it looks like that would work for all the committee members, for sure.
Okay, so next Monday, the 28th of July at 5:30 p.m.
Meet there?
And we'll meet there. The parking's across the street.
Okay.
And we'll do a little walkthrough. Don't wear good shoes or good clothes. So, it's what it is. But you need to see it and you need to experience it.
So, what council meeting would we need to have all of this information compiled? Would it be after our August 25 meeting?
So what you're probably going to have to do is you're probably going to have to go to council the first meeting in September, because you'll go for your site visit and then you don't have a meeting until
August 25th.
August 25th, which is after the council meeting, the second meeting in August.
Okay.
So at that point, the best solution is to take it the first meeting in September to council, which is fine. It's not the plan was always August, September timeframe, and we kind of threw this on you all here at the last minute a little bit. But also, I just want to remind you, keep an open mind. You all are creative. You're going to have ideas. Not to say it has to be a community center. So make sure, keep an open mind when you go and see the facility, and then just kind of visualize what you could potentially see there. My recommendation is that you all make a short list of ideas, so that, and then what we'll do at that point is we'll kind of take it to council, but council will not decide
On
that
it,
first
right.
meeting in September. Let me be clear on that, because they're going to want to then workshop it with the public. But I would like to be able to give them an update at that first meeting in September that the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee has made recommendations, and that kind of identifies the short list, and see if council wants to add anything else to the short list that then we go to the public with, so that we don't go to the public and we get 100 different ideas. We've got to kind of tailor this down and have, thoughts and opinions that come. We want public input, and maybe at those public meetings, we get some additional ideas. Then at that point, council will make a determination as to how they want us to move forward with design with our consultants.
Do you have a survey or something that shows just how much property there is there?
Yeah, we can
It was in what I sent you.
Yeah, and there's also already a 3D rendering that you can
They
go
have
through
that.
and walk through the whole
Okay, I'll go
building,
back and
3D virtually, but I think it'd be good to kind of get down there and see it for yourself and take a look at it and see what you'd like to preserve, ideas for what portions to preserve, whether it's, lighting fixtures, or if there's any, structural
front
elements that
door.
we can
It
preserve
used to be a
to
full
potentially be
building.
used for the new facility.
Did you ever go in it with?
Work on preserving the big banyan tree that's there with the, the tree house and things like that, so. Keep those
I
things
have a
in mind and keep an open mind.
I have
Joanne,
a
yes?
question. I was going to say, I just went back through city council meetings and I watched, and there was a good presentation. And if you want to see the layout that she did, it does show the building and the different areas that are not in good condition. It was a good layout.
Yeah, I
so
think that
if
was
you're-
attached to our email for
Yeah, I
this
sent it.
meeting.
I sent you the
Richard
link.
sent that out to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah,
This
but-
meeting?
Yes,
See it, oh,
for
And
this
then I
meeting.
sent
But
the
it wasn't-
3D the next day.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't just the 3D though, it was looking straight down at the floor plan.
Yeah.
I have a question, though. Mainly, I would think that we need to decide if the building is going to get torn down or if the building is going to be repaired. I would think that would probably.
Joanne, I think that is a city council decision that was made, I
Well-
believe.
Yeah.
Correct. So, Ms. White, that decision has already been made by city council,
That they're going to tear it down.
that they're going to tear the building down, yes.
Okay, all right, then I missed that part. Okay, and then we'll have time for the public to do public input on what they think would be a good use of that property. It's not going to be hurried through right away, right?
Yeah, one of the things we'll require of the consultant that we hire is to have public engagement before design begins. So we will
Okay.
have that, the very first step of that consultant's scope of work will be public engagement.
Okay,
And having
and-
public meetings.
And we had, there, in that, it's gonna have to have some place, because didn't we already use a grant that we're required, that we have to put in a fishing history in it?
The museum
some type.
component,
There,
yes.
there's a few, two or three things that we have to have in there, but they're very doable, very pluggable into that.
But is that one of them, is
generic
the
design.
fishing history? the museum
Education.
part? Education.
Education
okay.
was, yeah.
Okay, and are we going out for another grant or so for this project?
Yeah, a grant bought it, and a grant is funding the design with, these are all matching grants. And then this will be ideal for historic, not preservation, but historic, representation type funding. So yes, we'll be going out for additional grant funding.
Okay. All right, so this will be a progress moving on then.
Yes.
This is a process.
Okay.
Do we have any public input on this agenda item? Do you all want to talk on this? No. Anybody on Zoom for public input on this?
Not at this time.
Thank you. So we should probably come to that meeting Monday night with at least a few ideas on our head. But it's not a meeting of this committee, so correct?
Well, it is a formal advertised meeting.
Okay, so we
The
can
public
have
can
discussion.
attend technically. It is considered an open meeting as a site visit that we have to notice because under sunshine law, has to be
Right.
noticed and public can attend. If any of you were on the committee, back probably 5 years ago, we did a site visit with our IPM plan out to Barber Street Sports Complex. And we did have a couple members of the public that attended that meeting. Basically, what we'll do is we'll take a roll call at the meeting, and we'll document what is, any questions from the public and things like that, but, it will be
So we
open
will
to the
be able
public.
to have a discussion as we're walking through.
Correct.
Because it's going to be,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
we'll have a poster board or poster boards up that ideas can be written down on.
Okay.
As y'all come up with them.
All right.
Yeah.
Not on the part where if you don't like it, that we just fall through the floor, not that part of the building?
Yeah.
I'm not going to that part.
Does anyone have any comments before? Okay.
No, I
So-
think it's exciting.
That is exciting. So the recreation program calendar.
Okay, the next two upcoming events are the Touch and Tour, September 13th here at City Hall campus. It's a combination of a touch a truck and a tour of these facilities. The museum will have tours, the art club will have tours and activities, and senior center will have tours, and then we'll have large vehicles out in the parking lot that kids and adults can admire if they'd like. And we'll also have food and drink. And then October 4th is Kids Fest, which will be at Riverview. And that'll be a special event solely focused on youth activities. So there'll be a lot of different things going on both dates, but the Kids Fest will be quite an undertaking. And that's it.
So the Rotary Club in Vero Beach is having a kids triathlon on December 6th. And I just want to say that if anybody listens, it's really an interesting thing at the Gifford Youth at the aquatic center, and it's 6 years old, I think, to 9 or 13. It's $25, and they do a whole triathlon. And it's just, I'd like to see kids go, so just in case anybody's listening. Yeah,
Great.
sorry.
No, no. Does anyone have anything they'd like to see for the next agenda, which, not Monday, the 28th, but for our August 25 agenda added? Going once, going twice? Okay, with no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all.